Hey everyone, welcome to Pop XP. And before the show starts, make sure to click that subscribe button and click the bell to get notifications when we go live and we upload awesome new content. And don't forget, if you can, make sure to share our stream on all your social media outlets. We appreciate it, and thanks for helping us grow the Pop XP channel.
Hello, everybody. Billy and
Deb.
Superstar Debbie Tucci here. Deborah, sorry.
No, Deb's fine.
Deb, not
Deb,
Debbie. You were
Debbie.
Debbie when we first met.
Hey, you.
Hey,
Whatever,
what's
it
up?
doesn't-
Hey, hello, everybody. Billy Tucci here and Deborah here, and we're here to celebrate the 52nd anniversary, the 52nd Comic-Con International in San Diego. This is our 28th appearance. It's Comic-Con exhibiting. And but we're not
appearance.
But we're not in San Diego this year, are we?
No,
we're not. None of us are. But we figured we would bring Comic-Con to you guys and pretty much do exactly what we would be doing right now if we were in San Diego, and that's drink with some of our amazing friends. And so I figure we bring them in. Just real quick, we have to thank everyone because we are now 48 hours into this campaign, into our She Omnibus Edition campaign on Kickstarter and Indiegogo. And if I could, I'm just going to share because I just want to thank you guys. It's been a crazy 2.5 days, and thank you. Here's our campaign is here. Here we are live on Indiegogo. Jeez, honey, oh my God, we're at let's see, $81,414. Thank you guys. Because it's a big book. It's almost 500 pages, hardcover, hopefully oversized, premier formatted book, and we're just over the moon for all.
Tipped your hat on the stretch goal.
Did I? Dang it! I tipped my hat on.
What'd you do that for?
I don't know, because I'm a cartoonist. I'm not. You're the smart one. And so I want to thank you guys all for pledging for that. And then to give you credit, we I listened to the smart one of the team here once again, and we launched Kickstarter the other night. 48 hours ago, and now that's Hikyo. That's the wrong one. Sorry.
Yep, that's the wrong one.
Boomer
That's
Billy.
the old one.
That's the old one. Where is Omnibus Kickstarter? Oh, I didn't have it. Anyway, we did a Kickstarter Omnibus, and that's brought it. I'll find it. Give me a second. Say hello, honey. So I stop. Let me find it. Let me open it up. God, I'm so bad at this stuff.
Suffice it to say, it's doing really, really well.
It's doing really well. We're so yeah. So all right, I got it now. Now I got it. Okay.
And Igor wanted to know what's in my glass, and I will tell you.
Oh yes, the highfalutin one. Okay, here we go.
Foligno Estates Pinot Noir, and it's scrumptious.
That we got in Pennsylvania this weekend,
Yes.
along with that. Where's my popcorn?
I put it away.
Oh, jeez. So anyway, so we launched this 48 hours ago. And we're another $43,000 for the Kickstarter campaign. Thank you guys so much. It's just, I don't even know what to say. This just blows you away because it's one of those things. This is, the new books have been doing terrific, our past two campaigns. And now we did the Omnibus Edition, which is collecting the first 16 issues of the 80 or so we published. 90? Whatever a lot of them. Yeah, a lot of them. And it's just, we didn't think you guys would want it, but you do. And thank you so much. So we love you all. But without further ado, let's introduce some people. Let's introduce some wonderful, amazing.
Some of my favorite people in the whole wide world.
And they totally are our favorite people that we seek out every Comic-Con.
Yes, we may not be their favorite people,
right.
But they're our favorite people.
I don't know. We'll see if we are. So I think we should go, well, why not? How about the first person that I met in comics, the first professional, who's Comic-Con 1990.
Threw you a bone.
Yeah, 1993. I went with no dollars in a dream, my last dollars in dreams, and I flew to San Diego to try to make it big.
Some of my dollars.
Some of your dollars too, yeah. Because
I believe I paid for that.
You might have bought my ticket. Well, because you had a good job and you were smart, and I was designing Betty Boop T-shirts for you. Anyway, so I went and I was waiting online at San Diego Comic-Con 1993 to Marvel and DC because I had a dream that I wanted to be, I wanted to be, what I wanted to do, tell my own stories, but no one could think they could do that. So I went to Marvel in DC, got shot down by all the editors. They saw something in my art that they liked, but they wanted me to draw like Jim Lee or change my style. And I met one man who was sitting there with two other very handsome young men. One was Jason Jensen. The other was Stephen Hughes. And he had a small table in the small press, and he was sitting there, and I just walked up to him, started talking to him, and he treated me like a human being and as a peer almost, believe it or not. And he offered me a pinup in an upcoming book, and that was all that I came back, and I was showing him my samples, and he's like, "What is this?" I said, "Well, this is my comic book story I want to tell. It's my own character, blah blah." And he goes, "Why don't you just do your own thing?" And the best advice I've ever got in my life, and lo and behold, that young man is the I guess I like to call myself the kid brother he never wanted, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Brian Pulido and his beautiful, darling wife, Francisca. Hello, guys.
Hey.
So
now I remember that day we met, and now I've been regretting it ever since.
Yeah. It's all downhill from there. And then I'd like to introduce another one. So now, Brian, were you guys at the 1994 Chicago Comic-Con?
Dude, we were not only at the 1994 Chicago Con, we had a line so long that it went right in front of Marvel Comics, and Marvel Comics walked over and said, "Hey, move the line." And I said, "Marvel Comics, when you have a line like we have, you can tell me to move that line."
Hot damn, that just happened. That just happened, everyone. That's badass.
True story.
So that's like Brian and Fran Pulido, FTW.
Word up.
Word up. So Brian was so big, he had a big line. I couldn't get to him to thank him for offering me a pinup in his book, which ended up being the Lady That Swimsuit issue. So then they sat us near another superstar and his wife, and they sort of took us in. And
they gave us some wonderful advice as well, and again treated us like siblings.
We were so overwhelmed because, again, she had come out in March, right after Lady Death did. So the people that missed out on Lady Death, I guess, didn't want to miss out on She. So then She exploded, and this was our first Comic-Con. So we didn't know what the hell we were doing. We bought a booth because I'm like, I need a booth. So I bought a booth, and I didn't know how to put it together, and I think I broke a few things on it.
You think?
Yeah, I did.
Dude, I saw you in 2019. You were still breaking things.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. Yeah, indeed. That's a funny story, though. We have to get to that. I have all these questions about booth setups, Comic-Con memories, et cetera. But anyway, this wonderful young couple kind of took us under their wing, and I think the president of this, the publisher of this small budding suit company that was going to take over the world, said to Deborah's like, "Come with me, honey. I'll talk to you," or something. And anyway, but I'd like to introduce two amazing talents. One of them is truly a rock star. If you're a metal god, Brian, in comics, this young man is a rock star. And his beautiful wife, who is, the brains of the operation. No offense, but I'm just. But ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Mr. Jeff Smith and his beautiful wife, Vijaya Iyer. Chilling in paradise. Salute.
Salute.
What?
I thought they said they were in Columbus.
They're in Columbus. Does this look like Columbus?
No.
Look at this. Look at that life. Look at that.
I thought you were in Hawaii.
It does.
That is so the kind of place we're going to get when I move out of my parents' house. I'm telling you. So how is everyone doing tonight? How are you guys doing?
Doing great, man.
It's a day of Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Yeah, my attitude is like, it's the end of the night at Comic-Con. I went back to the hotel, freshened up, put on my kind of stylish Hawaiian thing, and now I'm having a cocktail and hanging out with some friends.
That's right.
Yeah, great.
What'd you guys do today?
Where are we going to go for dinner? How long is it going to take to get there? How long are we going to wait in line before we get a table? And then when we get a table, we're going to drink and then cry a little because we're tired.
Do you guys have the people that show up at 7 p.m. when the convention's about to end, and they're like, "So what are we doing for dinner?"
Yeah.
Like, what?
Every night.
You didn't plan ahead?
Yeah, and then I scramble around because I feel bad. I'm like, I don't know, what are we doing? And Debbie just stares at me, and she just
Tucci, you, man. That's you.
Exactly. It's all him. Reservations are closed.
Sorry, yeah.
We have plans. Sorry, you didn't account for it.
Sorry, Jeff. What'd you say?
Well, when we first started going, we'd like get groups of like 17, 20 people and go, let's all go out.
Yeah.
You learn very quickly that that's a
Really bad idea.
bad idea.
That is a bad idea. That is.
One of my rookie mistakes back then is like, who picks up the check? And I would feel so embarrassed and inclined, like I should pick up the check.
Yeah, it's the biggest publisher picks up the check.
Yeah. But then what about the ones where everybody wants to go and we're all going to go, we're all split it, and you're always, what, $240 shy? Like that number, like something like, and then the guy's like, well, I only ordered, and like, that's that.
Yeah, there's always a couple that ordered the $19.99 special and throw in a 20.
Right. And it's like, oh.
And they're like, okay, I got to go, bye.
And then the ones that don't drink, and this is my thing, don't trust anyone who doesn't drink when you go out to dinner. Right? Well, I didn't drink. Well, too effing bad. I did.
And you're paying for it.
Absolutely. So, guys, I want to say that how we talked about how we met, and we so appreciate. We talk about you guys all the time. We love you guys. We really do. We have such admiration for you and respect for you, not only as creators, but also the businesses you've built and the incredible successes that you guys have had. And how Brian, Fran, and I want to thank you by steering, I guess, pulling us kicking and screaming, maybe not so much, but to tell us to do Kickstarters, to do crowdfunding. And then you did the same thing to Jeff and Vijaya. Absolutely. And you guys are so free, right? They're so selfless with their time and their advice and how much you help other people. And I got to tell you, you've really given us the best 2 years that we've had in
a long time.
A decade and a half. I mean,
really appreciate you and are grateful for you.
I love you guys.
Oh, so are you drinking? Are you drinking out of a skull chalice?
Of course she is.
Look at
Yes, we've been having monsoons, so I am drinking. It's called Brainstorm. It's a Pinot Noir from Portland, Oregon. If you're going to do a Pinot, get it from Portland. I'm just saying.
So, Brian, you're drinking margaritas?
Yeah, I'm pouring like what I think is the perfect margarita, but I started pouring them about an hour and a half ago.
Oh, okay, nice. And then Vijaya and Jeff, what are you guys drinking?
Ooh. This is what's in here? It's Hendrix, and there were cucumbers in here, but the dog loves cucumbers and he ate them. And,
he walked over and plucked them right out of our glass while we were talking to you.
Citrus simple syrup, lime, and blue, what's it called? Flower tea. So I even like how everyone learned how to bake banana bread or learned how to, do a sourdough starter or whatever. During the pandemic, I became like a really fancy alcoholic. See how it's looking?
Nice.
I like it.
The alcohol dependence. Well done.
Yeah.
So
you
guys,
can talk me, Billy.
So I have a couple of questions for you. Well, the first one I want to do is what is since we're all here in San Diego. I'm seeing we have a lot of questions here. I'm sorry, guys. Let me post some little. People are saying hello in the audience. And I will get to that in a wee bit. But what's your first? I guess Brian and Fran. What's your first San Diego Comic-Con memories? What was your first San Diego Comic-Con?
Wow.
Among many memories about San Diego was the first time I ever set up as a company. I started putting a lot of thought into it. I had first gone to San Diego in 1992, and I had the experience that I was going to the Super Bowl. While it was overwhelming but completely exciting at the same time. The next year, I think it was 93, we actually exhibited. And our booth was very, very cool, but quite complicated to put together. It was a series of tubes that went together and made
plumbing pipes.
Plumbing pipes, but it made this really cool booth. But right in the middle of the setup, I solidly cut my finger almost in half and had to go to the emergency room. So that's one of my earliest memories. And as I'm leaving and bleeding all over the place, I'm screaming back to Stephen Hughes, Stephen, make sure the booth gets up. Make sure the booth gets up.
Well, those were the days where the Teamsters really stood by the booth.
Yeah.
If it wasn't up within an hour, you were paying out of your butt, and we didn't have butts full of money to pay it. So everything was starting. It's like you're at the biggest convention ever. You got to get your booth set up, and you really can't afford to pay anybody to set up your booth. So it's just a big panic, and you cut them tail.
Back then, yeah. So that is my first memory. But that particular weekend, we could probably do a whole panel on it, because that included using a smoke machine, fire alarm lights, everything we weren't supposed to use. Stephen Hughes and I getting in a physical fight inside of Artist Alley. The list goes on.
Dude, that's 1994. That's not 1993.
Yeah.
Okay, so that stuff's 90.
Oh, okay, 93.
93, I definitely cut my finger.
Yeah. Jeff and Vijaya, how about you guys? What was your first Comic-Con experience?
Well, the first 2 years I went out solo, and the first year was 92 also.
I had a real job.
Yeah, she had a real job.
And who did you get in a fight with?
Well, I did not get in a fight that year. But that year I shared a table with Charles Vess. He called me up, said, hey, are you going to San Diego this year? I really like your comics. And I knew who he was because I read comics, but I couldn't believe he knew who I was, because I only had like 3 issues out at the time. But he said, hey, are you going to San Diego? I said, what's San Diego? And he laughed and he said, just get yourself out there and you can have half my table and I'll introduce you to everybody. But my real first memory is 93, because by then I had my first trade paperback, first Bone collection. And because I had 6 issues together by then. And I showed up and this was when I began my battles with Faye and the show over who was allowed to sell a book. You remember, we weren't allowed to sell books. If you were in Artist Alley, you weren't allowed to sell books. You were allowed to sell drawing items.
Yes.
So I was like, well, I'm a publisher and I want to sell my books. So they said, okay, we'll set up an independent pavilion. But they stuck us way in the back by the bathroom. And we didn't have a booth per se. We still had a table. I think we taped some artwork up on the wall. But that was the year I came out with the first Bone trade paperback. And we were mobbed. I never saw anything like it. I didn't even know what I was doing. I had one kid, this local guy named Garrett Chin.
Garrett. Yeah, I remember Garrett. Is that how you met Garrett? He just was local and you're like, hey.
No, well, he was local. He was local in San Francisco. We lived up in the Santa Cruz Mountains, and he was from Oakland. And he was helping me out. He would come out 2 or 3 days a week and help me with boxing and packing. So he went to San Diego with me that year, and we were just overwhelmed. I kid you not, there was a wall of people deep, where just hands are coming through other people's shoulders with wads of money. And Garrett's just taking the money from people as fast as he can. And he's telling me, sign this guy a book, sign this guy a book. And we're doing this. Now, that was a good memory, but this is the real memory. That night, I went and hung out in, everybody used to be in one hotel back then, like in the Doubletree or wherever it was. And I went there and I got shit-faced drunk till 2 in the morning. Meeting all these people.
As you do.
And I'm meeting Jaime Hernandez and Neil Gaiman. And I'm like, my mind is just blown, right? So it's 2 in the morning. And my hotel is it seemed like it was a mile up bumfuck street. And this was back before they fixed downtown. So I think it was what's the one that's named after a president?
Well, there's a Horton Grand Plaza. That was a famous one.
Further than that, it's still there. Oh, it might not be there. Anyway, it was a terrible little dump. It had no air conditioning. It had
Grant Hotel, the Grant.
The Grant.
Yes.
It was a Grant. So it's quite a ways up, walking at 2 in the morning, and there's no one there, and the streets were a little rough back then.
Yeah.
And I remember walking, and I got about a block away from the convention center, and all of a sudden, homeless people started coming out from doorways, starting to like kind of walk around me, and I just remembered all of a sudden during that day when we were collecting wads of money, I had wads and wads. I had more money than I'd ever seen in my entire life. Balled up in my jean pocket. I mean, for me, it was like an unbelievable amount of money.
Yeah.
And pretty soon they're asking me, hey, I seriously have like 6 or 7 homeless people kind of walking with me, and I'm just talking to them, and they go, oh, you got any money? And I'm like, oh no, I don't have any money. I mean, and I look like
you do now.
I look sort of like I do now. So they believe me. So they believed me, and but I did have cigarettes, so I gave them all cigarettes and lit them all up. And then we're all friends, and they go, where are you staying? And I told them I'm at the Grant. And they're like, oh, we'll walk you there. So they escorted me all the way to the Grant. They said goodnight. I said goodnight, thanks guys. I went up to my room and I went, holy shit!
Oh my God, dude, your first entourage. and they were the remnants of the Manson family. So we're all glad you're here, buddy. Salud. So do you remember that with us too? Because that was our show, and we made all this cash. And like I said, remember people throwing cash at us, and I mean, I was dirt poor when I was
we didn't
so
know what to
fucking
charge.
poor.
We were so green. It wasn't even.
Some people took advantage of us, and all, but
more than some.
Yeah, more than some. But I remember we got home the first night or something, and we did you have a satchel or what did you? And we dumped all the money on the bed. We're like, oh my! And I jumped on the bed because I was so poor for 2 years. With 3 years, I had never. And I
lived on oodles and noodles.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh my God,
2 years.
And I think, and then you got mad at me because I laundered my clothes because they had a bag. I'm like, what's this? And they're like, oh, you can have them wash your clothes. I'm like, and I probably brought like 3 T-shirts just like this. I'm like, oh, and Debbie's like, that's going to be like $40 for them to wash your shirts. What are you crazy? You could have what? I'm like, I don't know. I figured we got all this money. I'm a highfalutin now,
Let's piss it away on hotel laundry.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Well, both you guys, there was like a bad girls movement. Really cropped up. Like, was that 94? I think.
Yes, it was. And if I may, I play it once a year, and if I can. It might make you, but
no.
Deborah,
Francisca,
Deborah and Vijaya, Deborah and Francisca are in this, and but before I can, we have a special guest here. We have 2 special guests, and I just want to bring them in, and they are delightful. Well, one of them is probably one of the most beautiful, elegant, smartest women in comics, and the other would most likely be, I think we all can agree, is probably the angriest man in comics.
He is not.
Yes, he is. You've never seen him. But ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to bring in as our special guests, as if we're hanging out in the hotel lobby, and these 2 beautiful people.
We would actually be at Roy's.
Yes, we would all be at Roy's. Yes. And this beautiful woman, this beautiful Texas woman, and the most stylish man in comics happen to saunter in the bar like they own it. But ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce Robin and Terry Moore.
Everything Billy says is true.
There we go.
Let me tell you.
All right.
Now, Robin and Terry, do you guys know Brian and Francisca? Do you guys know? Okay, good.
We all go way back.
Way back.
We literally go way back.
Way back.
So we're all talking about our first Comic-Con experiences, and the cool thing is that guys, 27, 28, 29 years, we're all still here.
I know.
Right? I mean, how cool
Hanging
is
on
that?
by a thin thread.
Against all odds, and no matter how much they wanted to keep us down, we're all still here. And that's
against my common sense, yes, that's
absolutely. I gotta say that Brian and Fran are framed perfectly, aren't they? Look at that.
They know how to really do that.
My goodness.
And they've got good lighting. You
They
guys
do.
have a lighting director.
They always have everything good. They always do. And these two are definitely trouble in paradise right now.
Oh, I know who you guys are. I can tell.
So, Robin and Terry, we just finished telling our first Comic-Con experiences at San Diego. And we're wondering if you guys wouldn't mind sharing yours, because they've been pretty interesting. People seem to...
Water back.
Yep. Oh.
Nope.
When I first went to my first Comic-Con, Lady Death was still alive.
What up, Bump?
That was great.
Our first,
Your first one.
my first one was without Robin for 1 year.
Look at you, you scamp. You
I know.
Man about town.
She just sent me to check it out, and it went well. And I called her that night, and I said, "This is working." And then the next year she came, and she made a big stir. Like met Charles Vess and Neil Gaiman and bought art and all that kind of stuff.
Look at you spend all the money.
Yeah. Isn't that what you're supposed to do? Make it and spend it?
Well, Billy was just talking about that.
Yes, and personally, for years, my shopping was done at San Diego. That's where I got all my new clothes every year, right?
Yep, for many years.
Because I'm like,
I'm in San Diego, I get a new wardrobe.
Yeah, that's basically it. We'd get in Tuesday, we'd set up, and then we'd go to the mall, and you'd buy me clothes. Because
here, you need to wear something.
Yeah, because I dress like this, and then she gets all dolled up as always, and she's like, "You think I'm gonna wear this?" And you're like, "No, we're gonna get." And that's how I became kind of stylish.
Very unfair. If you expect me to get dressed up, you need.
Hey, you had a mullet back then, right?
It was a bi-level back then.
A bi-level?
Yeah, I had a bi-level too. Yeah.
Thank you, Jeffrey. Yeah, me and Jeff and Brian might have had one too a little bit.
Brian had a mullet.
There you
No
go.
apologies.
Terry wishes he had a mullet.
I would kill for a mullet.
Whatever Bono was doing from U2, that's what I was doing.
That's right. I mean, I was into the Alarm. And
Yeah,
John
there you go.
Taylor and Duran Duran. That's what I
Mike Peters, yeah.
So being from Arizona, we get excited about going to San Diego because the weather's nice. So it's an opportunity for us to buy nice clothes that you can wear when it's chilly out. So it's an opportunity for me to buy a light jacket or a sweater, whereas
Yeah, it's the hottest time of year when we're traveling out to Arizona.
so it's great. So it's just like 70 something. We're freezing. We're like, this is so cold.
It is so fantastic to walk off that plane and feel that cool air hit you.
Yes.
That's right, because you're way down south in Texas too. But then again, Robin, I recall seeing you every Comic-Con first thing in the morning because Debbie kicks me out of the booth every year. She kicks me out. So I go on a walkabout and I see you, Robin, and I don't know if you're wearing a winter, like a ski hat and a hoodie, but you are sitting there every morning.
We were wearing in the morning
because they crank that AC so high early in the morning, and Robin's just sitting there, you just
Freezing.
Yeah,
Because I know all those
right
bombs
under
are
a bed. I
coming
put
there.
myself in a booth like that, like this.
It's
Wesley.
Wesley.
Hey, buddy.
Wesley.
Who's
There's
Wesley?
Leslie.
Is that your dog?
Uh-huh.
All right, guys. So I have a few super. I have a super. Let me read this right here, real quick. What is this? Okay. B Ewing said, "Congrats on the campaign, Tucci's. Question for the Pulidos: are there any plans for any Chaos Comics omnibus releases or Coffee Comics omnibus? Because you've done 10 issues of Lady Death.
Yes. In relationship to the Chaos Comics era stuff, no, because the rights are convoluted. However, we are about to launch the Lady Death Sacrificial Annihilation Kickstarter campaign on August 11th at 7 p.m. And part of that campaign will be the Lady Death Omnibus Volume 1. I apologize, Cartoon Books. I apologize, Abstract Studios. This is what I do. It 60 additional pages of extra stuff, oversized at 8.5 by 12.5 inches, every bell and whistle you can imagine, gilding, ribbon marker.
But that's not all.
But that's not all.
But wait, there's more.
What?
Don't get me started. Yes. So that's, the Chaos stuff, no, but our current era, yes.
But Coffin Comics, yeah.
And how many pages is that going to be, guys?
544 pages. 544. 494 pages of comic book story and art. The balance is all new material, including career-spanning interviews with myself and my co-writer, Mike McLean, an intimate photo photo tour of our
me.
headquarters of Francisca.
Nice.
Et cetera, et cetera. A lot of behind the scenes. We've actually planned this.
Honey, this is Brenda, our favorite.
Hello,
Brenda.
darling.
Good to see you.
How are you?
But I digress.
That's
When does that launch?
So
Yeah, sign me up.
Which is,
Brian,
yes.
question. So you
Yeah.
said it was 544 pages plus new material?
No, it'll be
Or is that
544
inclusive of
total.
new
So it's 494 pages of story and art, and the balance is all new extra material we produced for the book.
I misunderstood that. I'm sorry. I was like, wait a minute. Is this
We love you
600
anyway.
pages long? Holy cow.
That's one of the neat things about crowdfunding that we all experience is this is an amazing opportunity to totally overdo a production. So this omnibus for us is like the Kiss Destroyer tour of publishing. It's ridiculous.
like the
but
Destroy All Monsters of publishing.
it's all of that stuff. It's all every bell and whistle we could reasonably, moderately, tastefully add.
Well, it was funny because like we were getting the quotes in, and we're like, wow, it's really expensive to produce.
Amen.
And then we're like,
Yes.
yeah, but we really have to.
You got it. You have it.
Really do.
And so basically this might be kind of leading to, this is not a celebration, but rather this is an intervention. Because I want to share a few things of like what Brian's talking about, and I'm just grabbing it because it's on my third monitor here.
Wait. What happened to the thing you were going to show us that had?
Oh, that's right. Before you, yes.
Yeah,
Thank
come on,
you.
man.
Thank you,
Yeah,
my
let's see
brother. So this is, we were
I
talking
don't know
about,
what it is.
Let's
we
see
were
this.
talking about right before you guys joined in.
Fran and I just cringed.
No, I
at
played.
Yeah.
This is so adorable. So this is San Diego Comic-Con 1994, Robin, that we were on NBC News, Brian, Fran, me, you, and E Network, the E Network, and they came to Comic-Con. And this is kind of when it started to really start to blow up. But apparently they focused on all of us, which was really cool. So I found the video, the E channel, because I'm like, oh my God, I need this. So the E channel, I called them up and they sent me a VHS tape of the actual recording, and I have it and I'm going to share it now. So this is
Again.
Deborah and Francisca.
Again.
Circa 19. I play it once a year. I played it last year.
play it
Well, I played
it.
Yes, thank you, Jeff. Thanks. I have
Did
one
you
hour.
have bi-levels? Did you all have bi-levels? at
You're
that
about
time?
to see what we had.
I don't know. I'm trying to remember. Hang on, here we go. Okay, so let's. Well, I gotta. Sorry, I gotta stop screen. I gotta share it real quick. Hang on with the sound. Hang on, cancel. Give me a second, everyone. Apologies, all around.
You're doing great, Billy.
There you go. I got 3 monitors, and I'm 2 bottles. I'm not 2 bottles in. My first bottle of wine in.
It's going smoother than the Olympics Open.
Yes. All right, so here we go. So what we have here is this is Deborah and Francisca, Comic-Con 1994 on the San Diego Network, their channel. So let's give it a whirl.
Look at that. Brian's on the playlist over there on the side.
Alicia, Roland Smith, and Joe Lazaro Weathered. The first news at 4.
Hello, everyone. I'm Margaret Radford in for Denise Yamada. Move Over Superman, it no longer takes a male superhero to knock down the enemy. We visited the San Diego Comic Convention today and found that more and more comic heroes have brawn, brains, and breath. Always draws a crowd.
She said
People
breath.
can't wait to get their hands on Superman, Spider-Man, and She.
What?
Yeah.
She means death in Japanese, and she's hot.
But she's not a bimbo. She has intelligence. She has depth. She does not have the balloon boobs and the overly curvaceous body. She's realistic.
Some people might dispute that, but the fact is, readers love it. And a growing number of fit and mighty don't mess with me powerhouses.
Oh yeah, I like tougher women. You know, I'm not explaining like more independent.
He's still independent of them, because they don't need a man to
bring them through everything.
Lady Death certainly doesn't need a man to help her solve problems. In one obvious way, she stands out from the others.
Yeah, very well endowed. Very much so. We hear everything from
my mullet.
Does Lady Death's back?
I'm sorry, Fran. How cute! How freaking cute!
Yeah, you are
How
right.
beautiful are you? Hang on. Look at that! My goodness! Well done, Brian. Well, look at that.
Of other rude things, but once they read the story, they realize that she's very cool and she's more than a breast. Or two breasts, or just one big huge one.
The stories are very well written, and they give them a brain and things that weren't there 20 years ago. But they still the sex is there because sex sells.
But their creators, nearly all men, deny practicing a sex sells strategy.
She does show skin, but I think tastefully. I mean, I'm going to keep the comic book tasteful.
Personally, and that there's nothing more beautiful in the whole world than the female form.
Wonder Woman has kept her form for some 50-some years, but some things never change.
What do you mean? Well,
teen boys are the primary readers of comic books, and many don't really like girls.
I think that there is a little bit more acceptance for.
You hear that? They said that the boys that buy comics, they really don't like girls.
That's so
I did not know that.
It's like weird, isn't that weird?
That's all they like.
Female heroes than there was, but still it's not an equivalent balance. I think it's reflective of our readership and sometimes of our creative pool, still being primarily male.
Then again, Superman never had a swimsuit issue. And
That's
Lady
right.
Death does.
Yeah, damn right, bro. Boom.
The San Diego Comic Convention runs through.
Heck yes. Heck yes.
Yeah. All right.
How cool is that, man?
Brian,
Very cool.
Good job,
That was great.
That was awesome.
So
That was the mullet era.
heck yes,
Yeah.
it was. They were bi-levels.
Bi-level. They were bi-level.
You guys have not changed at all.
No, you haven't. You've aged well.
Always
Well,
tell your
comes
soul
well.
to the devil, and you will never age. Good
Well,
skin.
It's something about working inside your whole life too.
And no stress ever, right?
No.
No kids.
So yeah, you. So Terry and Robin, tell us about so Terry, you went alone your first Comic-Con, which I did. I went alone my first one.
Yes.
Jeff went alone his first time. Brian, were you alone your first time?
Yeah, I had a little. I was in the artist alley. I got like that. Remember they give you like the 3 feet and stuff, and I was completely appreciative. It was great.
Yeah. So
what year was that, Brian?
I think my first time exhibiting in artist alley might have been 92.
92. I remember because a friend of mine came in from New Jersey and we drove down to San Diego, and we actually have old video footage of it where we just walked up, got our paid for our badge, right? And it was just the little plastic badge, and you just put your name in there and you pin it on and you just walk in, right? There was, Brian's gonna go look for him. So there was no 5 layers of security. There was no everything is selling out. You just walk up. So it was really fun looking at that old footage and be like, you write your name on it. It's like Fran.
1992, Jack's back.
Wow.
Look at him.
Awesome.
Wow.
And you were guesting with Malibu.
Malibu?
Yes, that's right. Yeah, they were my first publisher. Yeah, Dave Ulbrich, all those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember Dave.
So Terry, so now you come there alone. You're on your own. I think were you a recording studio engineer or something like that, right? Your background was primarily in music?
No, at that time I was a video editor, like
video
commercials and stuff like that. And that was what I was doing. And I had done this book on the side after meeting Jeff the year before. I met Jeff at a signing here, and he talked me into here's how we're doing the self-publishing thing.
We're blaming you, Jeff.
Yes.
We're blaming you for all of this.
Oh, so Jeff, do you remember meeting Terry that he comes and he wants to publish his own comics? So here's this budding unknown cartoonist who's a videographer or works as a video editor, and you actually approached Jeff Smith, who just came out with Bone.
Yeah, he was
I want to do this.
I very much remember it. It was at Bedrock Comics, and Bone was just starting to really take off. So like, I'd go to a store signing and there'd like be 300 people there or something like that.
Wow.
I was just starting to happen, and I got to Bread Rock, and they said, and Terry's, they said, you're gonna do a signing with Terry, who shopped at that store, and we met and we sat there, and he was funny as fuck, and we had a really good time, and then then this is the thing I love about the comic book business. The store owner always takes you out to dinner afterwards. And he thinks his favorite people and his staff or whatever. And they take you to some place. He probably spends every bit of profit that he made on your business. But you have a great time. As opposed to, I'm going to go on a tangent for a split second. Because when I started working with Scholastic, they sent me on a real book tour. And that's just, you go to, Barnes and Nobles or whatever, at whoever was still around at the time, and you go in and do a book signing, and it's very dry, and like all the kids working there are just minimum wage. They don't give a shit, and as soon as 9 o'clock the store closes, they go home.
Yeah.
You just go back to the hotel by the airport, the Holiday Inn, and the dining room is closed.
Yeah,
I was like, man, I missed my comic book store.
Yeah.
Okay, so back to Terry. We've I think we did stuff together ever since then.
Yeah, we just kind of hit it off, and he was already a rock star, so I was kind of like, and he was just telling me everything. Like, here's how I do it, and and so I just kind of took notes, and he was like part of that big first wave. I guess Brian and Billy, you guys are all the same in that same big first wave of 92, 91 that kind of kicked the door open. And then when you guys were busy busting up the room, I snuck in the hole through the wall. So I was like the second wave of troops. That
you have always described yourself as being the second wave, but you were still part of the first wave.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Yeah, definitely.
I agree.
You're in on the first year or year and a half.
So if there's going to be a first wave reunion in Hawaii, I'm invited.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
But can we have it on Oahu? Because I prefer because we went to Hawaii a few years ago and we went to Maui. But I got
to Oahu.
But I got to. I loved
spend enough time there because we were at a convention.
Right.
So we were in the convention most of the time.
And you guys were there. Terry Robin. And I love Oahu. When we went on a tour and saw all the mountains and everything where Jurassic Park was filmed, and I'm like, why don't we just stay here? Remember, I was like, why do I have to go to Maui? What is that?
Can you stay on Oahu?
Yeah.
Yeah, the island's really big. You can go to the north side. There's so much.
Yeah, North Shore.
If you want the best experience, New Year's Eve on Waikiki Beach. On the beach, hang out, New Year's Eve. It's the most amazing experience. That's our Christmas.
Look at this. Look at their life. Look at that. I love it.
No kids.
So Terry and Robin, you guys had a family by then, right? Yeah. So when you got into comics, you already had kids and all. So we were all young, we were out of college and everything like that.
And we were the knuckleheads that had kids while we were in business.
Yeah, I think this is when we get one of these from the Black Hat guy, Rock. That means who's thirsty. That means drink. Drink.
Vijaya's.
Oh wait, Black Hat guy. Isn't it you that got me drunk the other night?
Yes. So anyway, Robin, how did it feel for you that you have this life now? You have a life, you have children, and then your husband comes home and says, I'm going to make comic books.
Yeah, that was a good conversation.
Yeah. Because with me, when I started, and Brian, we've had this conversation. Jeff, I don't know if you and I have ever had the conversation, but people had asked us, what was your plan B? Instead of being a cartoonist, self-publisher.
Well, I worked in animation. I owned a little animation studio, and we were actually getting gigs working on Hollywood pieces. Like we would get like 15 minutes of non-Disney things like Rover Dangerfield, or we did a lot on Bebe's Kids. So my plan was, I went to Vijaya and I said, I really think there's some exciting stuff going on in. I call them underground comics because they were black and white, you know, like
yeah.
I think I want to be part of that scene and finally do Bone. And Vijaya she loved Bone and she likes cartoons. I think she thought I was out of my mind, but she backed me up. She said, go write a business plan, a real one that we could actually show to a bank.
Yeah.
And I guess that she was forcing me to like be real about everything. And I did it. And I think that probably surprised you too.
And you hit all your goals.
We did. We blew through some goals.
I said to Terry, he had to keep his job as a videotape editor. He had to keep that job until he could make as much money doing comics.
Fuck.
Wow.
Yeah. And you know what? It took him about 9 months.
I'll drink to that, bro.
All right.
Yeah, man. Well done. Look at me. Look at my face. Look at me. I think it's so funny that we're all wearing glasses now, too.
I took mine off for this evening. I can't see any of you.
So anyway, another question I have is, ladies, all four of you, was it always, so when did you realize that you finally achieved your dream of making a living in comic books? Like, because I'm sure it was always your dream to make a living in comics, right?
I'm abstaining from this question.
I just love that we pulled these amazing women kicking and screaming a little bit. It was only for a few months or so, a few
I'm
years.
not involved.
All right.
Go ahead, talk.
But now that you guys know more about the comics business than well, at least me, you definitely know way more about comics. She knows nothing about comics. You read 300 and you loved it, right? That's like the only comic you ever read.
I read 300. I read.
You should read his next book, 400.
Of a lot of comics.
Yeah.
The only one I read cover to cover was
300. Yeah. But she knows more about the comics industry and how to make a comic book than I do. But so how?
You ought to hear Robin and Vijaya talk sometime.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Well, then let's start with them.
So Vijaya, how was it that here you were, and we know about you that I saw photos of you on the South Pole. This adventurous, amazing lifestyle you had. This brilliant young woman. You married this Jim Morrison type, sweet Jim Morrison type, and then he pulls you into making funny books for a living. How was that transition? And did you expect that? Was that your hopes and dreams to do that?
Absolutely not. I had a really good job. I programmed mainframe computers for a living. It was a great job, and I just kind of I got thrown into this. I mean, it's awesome now. But
and how many mainframe computers are there still? Nowadays.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I could have worked for NASA.
Also, if you had stayed down there in the Antarctic, you'd be down there with George Clooney, and it did not end well for him. So
it did not. Then again, she might have been up in the rocket that Bezos shot up, and she might have been,
right.
Now I'd be on the ground
with a blue jumpsuit on. No, they might have said, like, we need Vijaya Iyer up in space with us.
There was a Durf Backdurf did a Bezos side by side of Bezos rocket with the rocket from Flesh Gordon.
Oh God! Oh, yeah.
It's right on, man.
Yeah. That's the best.
I thought so too. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you see the thing they said where they shot? There was two. They show the Bezos rocket going up, and then the bottom picture is two chimpanzees, and they're looking up, and he goes, "Hey, I heard they shot a giant penis up in space." And he said, "Yeah, it was a weird looking rocket too." So,
oh.
But anyway, so Fran, you really took to this. I mean, now I know that we've had these conversations and all that. I mean, of how amazing all you women, what you did and the sacrifices you did for us, and how you stood by us and you believed in us, which was, and I think it's safe to say that like Deborah you are my most ardent fan, but you're definitely my most stringent critic.
I would
for
agree
sure.
with that.
And but I think we all benefited from something like that. but it's wonderful to see how you all took to it, and then you kind of took over comics, because you kind of did, and you keep things running. And Francisca, you coming from that, you were in movies, and you were a professional makeup artist and everything like that, and film and TV and video and all. What was that change for you to get into this? Like, you're like, what, you want to do what, honey? Or like you knew, like, this is what when you first met him and you were dating,
I think so. Brian was writing screenplays. I knew he loved comics. I read comics before Brian. I dated somebody that was into comics. Sorry, but
look at me. It's on my.
So yeah, it wasn't Debbie. I wasn't dating Debbie. So basically,
if you did, I'd write about it.
Thank you.
Yes, you would.
I'd buy that for $1.
Yes, you would. But basically, I've always been supportive of Brian doing comics. Right? I just thought it was very cool. I always liked being with people that were artistic and creative. So to me, I couldn't be with like a normal guy. So being with somebody that was different and creative was really great. It was the moment where I was asked to step up to help him build the company. That was frightening for me, because, you know, I was more in the beauty industry. I wasn't printing, bookkeeping, numbers. That wasn't who I was. So coming into that for me was really frightening. But it's given me an opportunity over this last 30 years, going from a person that thought she was stupid and couldn't do it to running it like a fucking boss.
Very good.
Yeah, so it's just been, for me, it's been a great opportunity to learn and grow. And then, you know, just with the whole crowdfunding thing, is just given all of us an opportunity to completely take our businesses to the next level. It's just been, so for me, it's been an honor to be part of this industry. And it's just been such a great opportunity to, I don't know, just to have great employees that are our crews, and that we can all grow together. Yeah. And so,
yeah, but I love it too. That
emotion.
But in the end, it is also a business.
It's a business.
That's what you would say to me. This is a business, and I'm like, what? You know, I didn't do a 5-year plan like Jeff. Can you imagine if you had told me to do a 5-year plan?
I'd still be in the fabric industry.
Yeah, I think you would. Like with, I don't know, with some other guy or something, but no.
I couldn't do a 5-day plan.
I would just still be in the fabric.
You'd still be in the fabric industry, yeah.
You'd be at Macy's.
Yeah, I was designing clothes for Macy's, first of all, and
design.
And I probably would have retired as a president of design at Macy's. And I should have stayed at Macy's. And there's a funny story, because
you could have bought Macy's. It'd be Billy's by now.
Yeah, I was designing children's wear for Macy's, and my boss brought me into his office and gave me that whole, and he literally said, I picture you here sitting in my seat. And then, you know, I'm like, no, I want to make comics. The comics blew up, thank God, blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, oh my God, if I did stay at Macy's designing all the children's wear and all, I would have retired probably 2 years ago with an amazing pension.
Start making comics.
And then I could start making comics now.
And you'd have a good seat for the parade, right?
Yes.
And your retirement would have been like a bronze baby diaper.
Yeah, but I wouldn't know you find people. But again, what I wanted to bring in is that this isn't just a celebration of Comic-Con and our years of friendship, and all, is that 6, right? Yeah, all 6, right? We're 6. All 6 of you, I admire so much. I really do. I admire your creativity. I admire your fortitude, your business sense, your originality, your friendship. And your selflessness, because all of you have all been very selfless with your advice. Like look at Terry was saying to Jeff when Terry had met Jeff, and Jeff sat down with him and said, well, this is what you have to do. And, you know, Jeff, when you learned, like, you didn't know what you were going to do, and you went to the library, right, to learn, well, how do I publish a book?
Yeah, this is pre-Google.
Yeah, pre-Google.
How much time did we spend in libraries? Oh my God.
Yeah, and then with library, you could find out how do you print a book. You could learn out about print.
There's been kind of a conversation going on around on Twitter about that it takes more than one person to do a comic, and it was about indie comics. And I haven't really followed the thread, but it seems to me like it's a surprise to people that someone like Terry didn't do this by himself. You know what I mean? They're like, right. And it's like this whole thing is like, oh my gosh, these people have to have someone someone is helping them, someone who has a job, or there's family money, and I didn't follow the thread any further than that, but because especially with the four couples that are right here, we've always talked about how of course, nobody could do this alone. Nobody can do this alone.
Partnership.
And all four of us have always had our partners with us the whole time at every event, every show. So I thought that was interesting that there was like a new generation that's like, my golly, I don't think they did that alone.
Oh, really? Well,
that's
what I remember is I think I did it alone for the first year or so. And so we all
9 months.
9 months. And remember, we all had
very
about
symbolic. Very symbolic.
It felt like a year and a half. Anyway, remember we all had all those distributors, like 18 distributors.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I was doing all the paperwork, the shipping, all that. Anyway, the bottom line is that my outstanding invoices that had not been paid were like 50%. And it was like that all the time. And then Robin came in and took one look at that. And within 6 months, it was back down to like 8%.
Nice.
And that's when I knew, okay, I'm out.
Right.
But also, the business side takes so much time.
Yeah.
Terry was spending 8 hours a day on the business and was drawing for 2 hours a day.
I was taking individual orders from stores.
Yes.
Going, okay, this guy wants 2 number 1s.
Yeah.
1 number 2 and 3 number 4s or whatever that. And then I'm packing them in a little envelope or a little box, and then I meet the UPS guy who drove up the
And now
mountain.
you're back there fulfilling
Kickstarter.
crowdfunding.
Yeah,
Same thing.
Yeah, but
Okay, so Robin and Terry, they don't
only
know crowd.
3/4 of us are crowdfunders.
Yeah, that's right. Well,
how do I
Jeff, call Terry and talk to him about it.
Yeah. So what I'm going to show you, because as I said earlier, this is not a celebration. This is an intervention. Terry and Rob. I want to share a screen of just random things that our friends might have done, through crowdfunding, through say Kickstarter or Indiegogo. And what this is that this is a new way of reaching your customers. And not only that, but you reach your customers directly, and you are held accountable directly by your customers. There is no middleman. There is no distributor. There is no
and there's an open
retailer.
line
I'm
of
sorry.
Communication.
Right, and there's an open line of communication, and they hold you accountable for your actions. And but I just want to instantaneously, and they tell, and you listen. But I want to show you something like, and here's our friends, Brian and Fran. They might have been doing this for a little bit, but and they kind of got it. But this is Brian is his Cataclysmic Majesty, their last Kickstarter that ended on July 22nd, 2020. I'm sorry, it was last updated on July 22nd, 2021, yesterday. So this is their last book, and if you see these numbers right here, my friends. I don't know if you can zoom, if you can see it.
We can see that.
3,306 backers, which is 3,306 customers. So let's just say you sold 3,306 comics, right? But they pledged over you because they believe in all the other products you have, all the accoutrements, right? All the extra to the
accessories and theme merchandise
of a 30-day campaign, and Francisca, correct me if I'm wrong, but they grossed because you don't make it all.
Gross is a very important
right?
word.
But it's still a great word. But they grossed $426,000 and $241.
Thank you, Fiends.
Hail.
Thank you, Fiends.
King and queen.
Yeah,
That's
hail.
all I have to
right.
say.
And that is on Kickstarter, dealing directly with the customer. Now, Brian and Fran, this is what, your 16th crowdfunding campaign?
That was our 25th, and we're on our 27th.
Oh, geez, I'm sorry. Is it like 16th Lady Death or something? Is it like
that was our 13th Lady Death, and we're about to launch the 14th.
Yeah.
Okay. So
That is amazing.
It's amazing. It's unbelievable.
That's a 30-day campaign, and they've been doing this for now. Is this 7 years now? How many years now are we doing?
6 years.
6 years, and you do 2 new Lady Deaths a year. They're every campaign.
Yeah, we've been doing, we did 4 campaigns that were for comic books this year. We completed a statue Kickstarter last month, which raised $238,000. And we really do just use it as a publishing tool. We do one every 12 weeks. Hail, man. And we deliver within 12 weeks of closing of a campaign. You know, if I could say anything to Abstract Studios posse, this is what I would say. And this was a really impactful thing a friend of mine said, a guy named Kirk Lindo, who was part of a small publishing concern. He published a comic called Vampirotica. And he said to me something that it was hard for me to understand until I actually launched a campaign. And he said, Brian, you will never realize the goodwill that you've engendered in people over the last 20 years until you launch a campaign. And I am promising you they will support you.
That is 100% correct.
Yeah, and it was very difficult on the beginning side of prior to ever doing a campaign to really understanding it because of all the things that internally would hold me back. But when we launched that campaign, I really started to get that experience. And if I can say one other thing as I have the floor.
Please do.
Billy and Deb, you guys are my peers, and I kind of look at you as my brothers and sisters. But I haven't really had a chance to really say this to the Cartoon Books posse and to the Abstract Studios posse, is that I hold you guys in the highest possible regard. I do, and I think about you. Like, there's folks out there who are parts of the machine. They go out there and they write the book or they illustrate the book. But I know how you guys are different. You not only produce the book, but you are the company that actually makes the book. And for the way I view things, you guys and then Eric Powell and his posse, I hold you guys in the highest regard because I know how unusual it is what we chose to do in the configuration. And I think the only thing that's missing in this conversation is it really is time for Abstract to throw it.
It is. So it really is. No. Now,
so in the words of Francisca, Robin, call me.
Yeah, that's exactly
right.
Robin, that's what Francisca did. So last year, and I invited you.
I was like, no, we're not doing that. We're not.
I'm like, call me.
Yeah. So
she did call her. It changed everything.
Yeah, it did, and we're gonna get to that in a second. But it was. I remember, Robin, I invited you. You couldn't make it, but we had a ladies' night. It was San Diego Comic-Con at home. It was like last year, it was like 6 of you, and ladies it was ladies' night, just talking about like how the hell did we get here? but then Francisca started talking about crowdfunding. We just got into it, and Vijay, I'm like, you have to do this, and Francisca did that classic thing that's like, it's like, honey, and you said, honey, call me, and that was it. So I want to share this too because I have to, because I'm so proud to just be friends with you guys and to witness this. But Terry and Robin, this is Jeff and Vijaya's very first crowdfunded campaign. Their very first one, which launched this spring into the summer. And let's take a look at Tucci. What the hell is that? Oh, okay, sorry, I'm looking at the top. Tucci Fight for Fire. No, it's not.
Sorry.
No, it's not. It's it.
I mean what you were looking at.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm looking at I have 3 monitors, so I'm whatever. But guys, this is Jeff and Vijaya's first campaign, and if you look closely, Jeff and Vijaya brought in 293,000 backers, which are basically 293,000 buyers, partners, and they pledged almost $270,000 in 30 days to deliver this book that Jeff is doing, and he has this amazing video. They have and we can do this because
expertly done. Guys.
Look at this, and
it really was amazing.
And it really is a testament to, if I may, Robin, if I may do this, y'all's creativity. But it's just astonishing. But the people come because the fans want to buy from us. Because Robin, everyone who comes to your booth or everyone knows your books knows not just Terry, who we're all big fans of, but everyone knows and we all admire Robin. Just like everyone knows Jeff and everyone knows Vijaya. Everyone knows Brian. Everyone knows Francisca. Everyone knows Billy. Everyone knows Deborah. They know that we're... What?
You forgot everyone.
No, I said everyone knows Terry. That's how I started with.
No,
yeah.
I missed that. I'm a pouring wine.
But
thank you, Deb. Got my back.
Yeah. No, I totally said that.
Hey, can I show you something?
Yeah.
We just got our actual printed books. Our first.
What?
Look at this.
Oh, yeah.
It is.
Wow. The drawing, doesn't it?
It's black and white inside, but it's really thick paper.
Ooh.
Oh man, it is gorgeous.
It's gorgeous. Shading.
And we had an alternate cover. So that's the alternate cover.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
I love it.
Which there's another half to it. So there's 2 books in this campaign.
Oh, now that alternate cover is that other half the part 2?
Yes.
Oh, so it's a joined cover.
Yeah. So that's the alternate cover. But I want to echo something that Brian said earlier, which was I'm sure I speak for Vijaya as well, but we were overwhelmed by the happiness from supporters. It was crazy. I mean, we actually had to run in shifts. Cartoon Books, our posse is the 2 of us, and we have 2 full-time employees.
That was her. She was like, you gotta be on.
Yes, that's because
responsive.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we set up. We had from 8 in the morning till 8 o'clock at night. We had somebody watching and answering, but it was just a barrage of questions. People want, is there going to be a hardcover? That kind of question. But there was also just like, oh my God, I read your comics when I was a kid, and it changed my life. And it was the happiness that just came through for the whole month.
Yeah.
30 days. I was overwhelmed by the end because it was such a happy experience.
It was a truly positive experience, and it's hard work though, right?
Oh yeah, it was.
Someone had told us, right? You have to be on. You have to answer, right? But what did you say to me? Was it Monday? I was in a bad mood, right? Was I first
Billy,
world problems, right?
Telling secrets out of school, right?
Okay.
So Billy, who is most of the time, to everyone's appearance, a jovial character.
Yeah.
When things go wrong for Billy, let's just say he's not jovial.
Yeah.
At all. Things go flying, a lot of loud stuff. And I kind of just stopped him. And it was about what didn't print right or what didn't this right.
Yeah.
Whatever.
And I was really.
It was
like
fixable.
This. Yeah.
And I said, what are you getting your panties in a bunch for? Do you
said
realize
that.
how lucky you are that you get to make people happy for a living?
Yeah.
That's really, what, in a nutshell, that's what all you guys do.
Yeah.
And it's
Vijaya constantly points out that you get to go and be worshipped. Why are you upset? The alternative cover.
Oh no.
Okay, so I didn't want to do it. I was overwhelmed with work, and I had this other cover, which I thought
he was in love with.
I like that cover.
It looks like a movie poster.
And
So,
I was actually thinking that. So,
as you should.
She goes, do the alternative cover, and I was like, no,
Kickstarter only.
And I said, I don't know if I can think of something. And she goes, get your head out of your ass. It's going to be great. You're going to do this alternative cover, and it's going to be super cool, and everybody's going to love it. And I went, got my head out.
And you moved up into the studio and you just started drawing that sucker, right?
I just started drawing it. Get your head out of here. Sure. Hey, my head is in my head.
There's an echo in here.
Your wife is a lot different from his response.
Completely hollow.
What did I say? Didn't I say? I said, "Bye, George." I know.
That
I said.
particular time you did.
I said, "Bye, George, honey. You're right." And I heard like the Notre Dame theme song as I ran out into the.
I like Pissed Off Billy and Pissed Off Vijaya. They're fun.
Well, you can see. I don't know if Brian and Fran have seen this, but there's Pissed Off Billy and Debbie every Comic-Con, every Tuesday afternoon, because we just. We're here all week.
We're very much alike. My favorite thing, our favorite thing is in the morning, we just like get our coffee and we sit at the booth because Billy's entire team's there before Billy is. They set up the entire booth and it looks great. And Brian and I are like, okay, here we go. And then Billy, here we go. And then Billy comes in, he's like, it's all wrong. It's all wrong.
Boy, am I glad I'm not like that.
Chaos. And then he changes the whole thing.
And then he leaves
every time.
No, you don't.
Yes, we do.
Do
you
you
never
really?
notice.
Oh my God, no way. Well, I do that with the Christmas tree every year too. I hate decorating the Christmas tree, but then I have to come in after Debbie and the boys do it, and then I have to rearrange the whole thing at night.
Oh my God.
And then I change it back.
No, you don't. You notice I change
every single time.
For like 30 years, 20 years.
Every single time.
And then it's the end of the con. Everybody knows what to do. And if it was up to everybody, it would be taken care of in 90 minutes. But there's Billy mucking up the gear.
Micromanaging, right?
We're leaving and we're getting ready to go to dinner. And there's Billy obsessing over something. Everybody had it all figured out.
But
you need a box. You need a box.
Help us break down. So
Brian and Brian also break everything down on one. They come in with like 4 pallets and break everything down at the end in one.
Yeah.
Like you
that's
have
how you guys sell everything.
Yeah. That's why you have to talk to Robin
We're about precision.
crowdfunding.
We're about precision, man.
Robin and Terry.
Huh? Yes.
All right, Terry. So when do you go? What's your Kickstarter Indiegogo book going to be? No, I know.
Oh,
I'm not going to put you. I just got hit. She didn't pinch me yet, and pinching hurts. So thank God. So she just got
Oh, quit it.
Did you just pinch him?
no.
Oh,
Every minute. We have actually been watching you guys, all 3 of you guys, as a group, and we're really aware of the incredible, like all the Kickstarters that Brian has been doing. And if you go and
James, now I'm out. Sorry.
oh no!
If you go and look at one of Brian and Francisca's Kickstarters, there's this long list of all these perks and things that you can get. And I was thinking, oh my God, all I have is a pencil, an extra pencil. And then I go and look at what you're doing. You have all the same perks and the prints. You have a million prints and all that. And then I look at what Jeff and Vijaya did, and I know that Jeff poured his heart into that book for like 5 years. And then they get all these special, all the stuff that they know how to print and all the perks and all that. And I'm thinking, my God, I can barely get 19 pages done for my next bit.
Oh, fuck you.
Oh, please!
You put out a
Right here, Jeff. Right here.
every 6 weeks. What the hell? Who does that?
4 weeks. Who's counting?
Every 4 weeks?
No,
think-
it's every 6 weeks.
Oh, okay.
I think, Terry, whatever you do, as long as it's authentically your expression, that's really what matters. I mean, I happen to just like to do a multitude of things. That's just part of my personality. But for me, in my experience of Abstract Studios, it's whatever you happen to impart onto people, your people will be ready to receive it. So just continue to follow your own muse, and it'll all sort itself out.
Yes, because there are a lot of people that do that European model, and they'll just do one Kickstarter a year, and they'll do a 48-page book a year.
Yeah,
and trust me, it's worth it because you will make enough that year that it's going to be complete. You'll be able to do it. Trust me. And people will wait. And you tell them, I'm putting out one book a year. It's
and so you can take their money and they'll wait a year.
Sure.
Yeah. As long as you regulate people's expectations.
Our first one almost took a year. Our first book almost took a year. But you kept up with them. But this is the first time we ever did it because we didn't have the money to just do. Now our books are done before we actually launch them. You get into that. This is our third one now. So you get into the rut because we've all done this before. We've all published these books. We've all know what.
Fourth one. Actually,
okay.
Fifth one technically before.
Oh, the T-shirt we did it. Hoodie shirt.
Was before.
Yeah. So this is our fourth crowdfunded comic book. So now you get into the rut because, as I said, we've all published. How many hundreds of issues have we published already? So this is not our first rodeo. So we know what we're doing. You know what we have to do. You know you have to get your nose to the grinder. No surfing, Terry. Okay, I know. You got great surf in the Gulf right now with the storms coming. No surfing, but they will wait. If you tell them this is, let's just say it's Wino. Okay. So Wino's coming out by Terry Moore, and you launch it today, but it will be fulfilled. It'll be delivered, whatever they call it, in June and fulfilled in July of 2022. As long as they know when you're going to do that, they will wait for it. Robin, they will wait. And you stay ahead. You put out updates. You keep them informed. You show them pages, the progression of it and all. And I don't want to say it gets easier, Brian, right? I'm sorry. Yeah. But
you can't get the money until the book is going out, right?
No, you're funded 10 working days after your campaign completes.
So you do a 30-day campaign. So you do a Kickstarter. You say we are raising these funds for me to produce this comic. This is my new book I'm going to produce. You're not like Jeff, who was working for 2.5 years on this opus that he's doing. But I did that with the Return of the War, the first She book. I had 10 pages done, and I'm like, I don't. Right? I'm like, you're going to help me fulfill
10 of 56 pages.
Yeah, 50. Yeah, right. I'm like, but I need you to help me make this book. I want it, and you're honest with them. But I will deliver this book in November of 2019, whatever it was.
In our case, it was different because we didn't have any clue what we were doing.
Right.
With one of the size that we kind of cut our teeth on Zombie Sama, knowing we would make mistakes.
Which is my little zombie book that I did.
Right,
yeah.
Knowing we would make mistakes, but we figured if we're going to make mistakes, it should be on the smaller book, not the bigger book. But the bigger book was like a different animal. We didn't even have to do the smaller one. It was so different.
Yeah.
That we had told them it was delivering earlier than it was.
Right.
So we
but
knew
COVID
early
too
on.
hit us too.
Yeah, and then
shut
COVID
them
on
down
top
for
of that.
2 months. Yeah.
But we updated them all along. Okay, there's going to be a delay of 2 months because of this, or 3 months because of that. And as long as you're honest with people and they know what to expect, and you're updating them regularly, nobody complained.
Yep. And then the second book now, because then I was able to then get caught up with the second book. And then the second book was way bigger than the first book. And now the third book, the third book is the reprint, but the fourth book now, I'm on page 16 of the book that we're going to launch in October. So this book will be completely done by the time I launch. But with you, Terry, you have this new concept, this new property, this new idea. You tell them, I have 10 pages done, and I need you to help me I'm coming to you to produce this book. And they will, I'm telling you, they will rise because they want to see a new Terry Moore property. And right, Brian and Fran and Vijay, the best part is that you're dealing directly with your customers, with your fans. And there's no distributor interference. There's no retailers they have to go through, whether they like it or not.
Retail, not wholesale.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Right. And you're dealing with them, and they will, and they're all there. You have this amazing built-in audience for 27 years. I was at a comic book signing, Vijaya, with Terry. And there was a person who came up and with the storyline of Strangers in Paradise, if I could talk about SIP, about the whole cancer thing. And there was a fan whose mom died of cancer. And literally that book helped her deal with her mother's illness and everything like that. And remember that? And I was just like, I was crying. Everyone's crying. And there was just Terry and this young lady just that they embrace, and how your life, like how your words and pictures helped someone through one of the worst moments of their life. And that person and you were genuine with them. And it was an amazing bond. We felt embarrassed. Maida and I were there. We felt embarrassed being there, to witness this in a way, because it was such a private, beautiful moment. But those people are everywhere. There are scores of them. There are thousands of them. And they're waiting for you to do this. And they're not going to love anything more, right, Brian, than you're dealing directly to them.
Yeah, the experience of the crowdfunding is, it takes away all the barriers between you and your fan base. Like, those are the fan base. They're the most important people in the world. Without our fans, we are nothing. We're nothing. So to be able to have an opportunity to communicate directly and create directly for the fan base, it's just such an honor. It's just such a great opportunity. No distributors, no nothing. It's just you and them. It's like being at a comic book convention
for a month.
For a month straight. It's just you.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. And then when you're done, you get to ship it to them.
And it's all the stuff you do anyway.
Yeah.
Right. And the thing is too is that right, Francisca, and I'm sure Vijaya, you've dealt with this. They hold you accountable. You
can't not be held accountable, because you are communicating directly. It's like it literally is like you're at Comic-Con for 3 or 4 days. This is a month of this, and immediately your fans go, why don't you have this? Yeah. Like in our case, they're like, well, you're doing this Kickstarter. Why aren't you making a hardcover? I want a special book. And I'm like, well, we're printing this domestically so we can get the books to you fast. Yeah. Which you guys all said, oh, it doesn't matter. You can do whatever you want. They'll wait. But I'm like, I want this book is done. I want it in people's hands quickly. And then all of a sudden, a lot of people want a hardcover. Well, you have to be accountable. And so I just went, all right, we're getting it printed domestically, but I'm going to bite the bullet and we're going to just get the hard, because that's what they wanted. Yep. So that's the kind of cool, which you get that at a convention, right? Like people will say, well, why don't you, do this? And you go, oh, we'll take that under consideration.
And then you never see them again.
Yeah. This like you're actually.
They're the next day on the email.
Yes.
Where's my hardcover?
Lady, where's my hardcover?
I'm gonna add 2 things to that really quick. Terry, before you mentioned how many rewards or perks that we have on these campaigns, a lot of them happen. I'm sure this doesn't happen with Coffin, because you guys have everything pre-planned a gazillion years ahead of time. And someday I'm going to grow up and be you guys. But while I'm still while I'm still who I am, I can't tell you how many times we go, okay, we're done. We're not adding another thing. And then 3 people will ask us for the same thing. And we'll go, okay, there's a new level. So by the time the campaign ends, there's 3, 4, 5, 6, sometimes 10 different levels that you didn't plan on adding, but there's enough people who want it that's going to make it worth it. And not only accountability, but you're not talking to a distributor who's really could care less as long as they're making money. You're talking to the person who's going to buy it.
Who changed your life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to say, I want to say, Terry, don't look at the Pulidos list of add-ons. You will have a stroke.
They have a point that you cannot.
No,
you can't decipher.
I can't even understand.
They don't add anything else on because there's nothing else to add.
Right.
Beyond my comprehension.
They've done this enough times that this is a well-oiled machine.
And nobody asks for nothing because there's nothing that isn't already in there. So, like for us,
there's nothing left.
For us, we did the campaign and we had no idea. I mean, you guys were like, it's going to be great. I had
We didn't believe
Diamond
you.
Comics was like, oh, we can sell like 400 of these books. And I'm like, are you kidding? So that's why we went to the Kickstarter model, because they just weren't stepping up. And immediately we met our goal. And then people are writing us, they're like, what are the stretch goals? And I'm like, I didn't think about that.
You know, Fran does.
Well, no. So I had a bunch like list, like kind of just randomly. And
just the stuff like heavier stock paper and
but that's
little
like,
things like that, which we blew past all those goals before 10 minutes.
But the stuff
Oh, I know. Yeah, you guys said you were totally funded in 6 minutes, and after that, it was just rocket ship stuff. I mean,
but stuff like the prints and all that stuff we added later was because the fans wanted to know that.
Oh,
I mean,
so
they
here's-
wanted that.
so here's the thing.
They're going to really guide you.
So
totally.
At the back of the book, and I'm really glad they did this, although it was a nightmare, I thought at one point, was at the very back of the book, like the last this many pages is
that was a stretch goal.
This was a stretch goal. Was we were going to put a behind the scenes, all sorts of like, well, I can't flip it around, but this is all like, this is not part of the comic. This is all
go that way.
The paleoanthropology.
Yeah, all the research, and it's like that's
cool.
Really cool.
40 pages. It's like a 40 pages of behind the scenes, how we made it, and all that kind of stuff. And I'm super glad we made that a stretch goal, because I had to make it, and I really wanted to, but it was just like so intense at that time. You know, these are intense, right?
They are.
It's intense.
Yeah. Now, there's no picture of you, Jeff, though, and Vijaya in 1995 in Africa or in 94. Taking
millions of them.
Oh, yeah. And they will be in the second books.
Excellent. Well, Terry, we're going to take this to the next level, because now we're going to bring in, if we have the metal god of Kickstarter and the rock stars of Kickstarter, we have to bring in the godfather of Kickstarter and his delightful muse, who is the comic superstar, who's responsible for one of the biggest movies of all time, to join us. And our friends that are coming in to teach you, Terry and Robin Moore, to by George do this. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Amanda Connor and Jimmy Palmiotti.
Hey.
Hi, guys. You look like you're in a comic store.
It is a good, nice green screen we have behind us, because otherwise it's just a reflective glass door, so it doesn't really look, you know.
You ruined it, Jimmy.
No, this is actually because I'm embarrassed that my basement looks like this.
Nothing wrong with that.
Well, it's good to see you guys. Thank you for joining us. We figured this is what we're probably doing if we were actually in San Diego right now at this time, you know.
Back in the day, we would be on top of the Hyatt. Right
Yeah,
now.
well, it'd be 7:30 at night. We'd be having a cocktail.
Well, I was thinking 10:30.
No boo.
Man would be sleeping. Yeah.
Would Amanda be sleeping?
I'd be sleeping now too, Amanda.
Yeah. I'd be whining to Brian. I don't really want to go out, and he'd be like, "Come on, let's go out."
I know.
Yeah, but Billy and I would be watching Debbie and Amanda sleep.
Yeah.
It's like really watching.
Stay up until
Yes.
10 a.m.
Really like staring at you.
Drinking.
You know, I can picture that. You're talking to people with imagination, so you know.
So how you guys doing down there? And,
They're good. We still, you know, even though we're in Florida, we have the New York brain, so we don't go out to eat dinner until like 9 o'clock at night.
We're like,
you know,
it was like 8:20, and we're like, oh crap, we gotta go get something to eat if we're gonna like, you know, see all these guys at 9:30, and then we didn't get out of there until like 10 after 10. We're like, oh shit.
Hi Amanda. Hi Jimmy. Your hat isn't phasing tonight.
Oh, like it was the other night.
yeah, because I had the green screen ratio thing going. My hat looked like
Jimmy had like a camouflage hat on, and he looked like Thanos' head was blowing him away, and he was wearing.
It was the only look I really endorsed.
It was
but,
Well, I liked your captain's hat quite a bit.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah, get that.
Look at Terry. Goon cap.
What is a Dune?
Goon. Like
Oh, heck yeah. Oh shit! I just got rid of Terry. Hang on.
Rid of Terry.
Where's it?
That's not nice.
Can you see it in the? I don't have any reflection.
We got to get now. Have you guys ever hung out with Eric Powell and Tom Lennon? You know Tom Lennon? Look at Jimmy. Nice, Jimmy. You know, Jimmy. I'm sorry.
It was a choice. I had a choice.
The Captain and Tennille right there. There you go.
Oh, you can put that one on, man.
Well, see what I like.
Boy,
this is why I never gave Jimmy any children, because he's got a head the size of a basketball. Like, I'm not having more children. Hell no.
Wow.
This is why, first of all, we all love you guys so much. And the one thing, when we first got into comics, we met so many people, right? In like San Diego, it was probably San Diego 94. We met so many crazy people all. And then we realized there was a lot of hard friends. Like, it was kind of hard being friends with them. There was a lot that went along with it, drama and all this. And then we had easy friends. And you guys were our easy friends. It was like, Terry and Robin are going to, like, yeah, I'll do that.
Go anywhere.
I'll go anywhere Terry and Robin will go, I'll be there. Because we'll laugh, and then we'll go to bed, and it'll be a great
and there'll be no drama.
Yeah.
There are a lot of assholes in this business.
Let's start a list.
It does get exhausting.
Brian was beating people up at San Diego Comic-Con in 1994.
I didn't know better, man.
Don't be stealing art.
Don't be stealing.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, man. Wow.
Tell me about that.
Oh, he was running through the
art.
Well, we didn't know how better to deal with conflict. So what happened was Stephen Hughes had done work from a former company. I'm not going to name names.
I will.
And that particular person had his art at San Diego Comic-Con, and it just seemed incumbent upon us to take that art back. And so we went over to go take it back, and a fight happened where another guy just jumped in, and before you know it, fists are flying. And the crazy thing at the end of this was
me standing at the booth watching people take away Brian and Stephen in handcuffs, and me going,
nothing like that. Nothing that extreme happened. But however, they did want to kick us out, but I used the gift of gab to talk them back into letting us back in.
Yeah.
But
well, from what I remember, because I was there, and you were, like I said, you and I don't know if I had met Terry yet and frightened him yet, but I had met Jeff and Vijaya a month before, and then I had known Jimmy. I met Jimmy a month before that, and you guys. And I remember when you came back and just talking, like, what happened? And you told me the whole story. And then this other dude jumped in, and all I remember is you telling that Brian literally jumped on top of this guy and literally choked him out and said, "Back off, man, back off." And I'm like, this is the older brother I never had, and I'm going to bother him for the rest of my life.
I just done stuff like that forever.
Wait, the way I was raised in New Jersey and living in New York, I didn't know how else do you resolve conflict. You just take care of it.
Do it.
You just take care of it.
Well, Terry's from Texas, so they just shoot people. So Indiana Jones, and he's just like, yeah, pow, kapow.
And like that's a bad thing.
I know a lot of what a lot of us have in common tonight is crowdfunding and liquor. But I would definitely like to acknowledge the mayor.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Terry's from Texas. I got to put my cowboy hat on.
I want to acknowledge the mayor of comics, Cowboy Jimmy Palmiotti.
I have a lot of hats here.
You got to go backwards.
Jimmy consigliere to so many people, myself included. Thank you.
Amen to that.
Right,
Amen
so
to that.
Brian, that you are the king of Kickstarter, and you literally went to Jimmy and you spoke to Jimmy, right? You got advice from Jimmy because, I want to do this. I have no idea what I'm doing, and you went to Jimmy, right?
Yeah. What happened was I was being published by a different person, and I was resolving a legal matter. And I did get in contact with Jimmy, and I was simply watching what he was doing. And what I saw was a person who was just expressing themselves however the hell they wanted. And Jimmy and I go back many, many years, 2 decades. Oh, yeah. And I just loved watching what he was doing in that it was available. I think we all know that trying to break a comic, a new concept through the traditional comics market is very, very difficult. And here I was watching Jimmy like one after the other, 1, 2, boom, 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 ladies with crab legs and sex and violence. And I thought that was remarkable. And so I did get in touch with Jimmy. And I remember the main thing that my takeaway was, I said, hey, Jimmy, should I make the comic book before I list the Kickstarter or after? And he said, have it all ready beforehand. And I locked into that like it was simply the voice of God. And that's always been our mantra. Before we launch, we are like completely done.
Jimmy is God.
And so
I don't have a hat for that one.
The
I do, actually.
The world might be a better place.
He has a hat.
So Brian and Fran, your first Lady Death Kickstarter 6 years ago, which is not a long way away. Santa, wait. I'm sorry. I have to.
Wow. I think it is the most godlike hat. It's a very godlike hat.
I think Jeff just asked Vijay, like, what is that? I can't see it. I look at Jeff. Jeff said, so, anyway, anywho, so Brian, your first Lady Death was 6 years ago. Now, Jimmy, you've been doing this like 8 years, right? Because I remember I came to your house. And I walked in their house, and it was filled. I had to walk through his downstairs office, and they have this amazing, like James Bond, beautiful Southern Florida house. But the whole downstairs is all filled with boxes and comics and piled up. And I'm like, oh my God, what is this? He's like, this is what it is.
You know, I think I was the first like sort of mainstream person to do it. You know, and I just remember I read it about Kickstarter in an article, and I was like, how can I make this work for me, kind of thing. And you know, I was happy to kind of make all the mistakes the first couple, so I was able to help everybody else out with it, you know, because I mean, just figuring out the shipping and when I started it, even the printing and you know, in the first couple I did, I actually had Image publish the books afterwards. You know, that was the deal I had with Image. So I actually made the money twice over on those books. But for me, it came out of a frustration because I like superheroes just fine, but I'm not so interested in writing them, you know. And mainstream comics, it was just I just wanted to tell stories, and I thought, how am I gonna, like, some of these ideas I have are so stupid, you know, and you know, and different. Like, how am I going to find an audience for this? And I thought the Kickstarter was like, okay, I can solicit my idea, and if people like it, they can buy it. So it was a simple concept to do, and it worked out. And you know, of course, Brian and Billy, of course, like killing me on those things. I mean, you know, but I got to say, like Brian, like, you know, you have the characters, you know, and Billy, you're the artist behind your characters. My books are always like weird, you know, like out there concepts. I know the minute I do one with Amanda and it's like a character, it's going to be a monster, right? But I'm really happy with just getting the ideas out there. And again, you know, I think I have like 16 or 17 I've done, and I'm packaging them, and we just, you know, selling some stuff overseas. And the goal is to get away from other companies, you know, not having to depend on other people.
Well, the wonderful thing about you too is that you're so brazen that you come out with a new IP every time almost. I mean, you have, like, you know, Pop Kills, the more successful ones that, of course, people want, issue 2, issue 3, issue 4 or 5. But you're always consistently coming out with a new IP. And the fans just follow you for who you are because of your body of work, both of you guys.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely, you know, made our mark in the mainstream. I mean, all of us have on one way or another, right? We've hit. And what's so funny? What did
Heroinberg? Suddenly it's Muskrat Love in here. I'm sorry.
What did he say?
Amanda's reading somebody's comment from an hour ago and laughing.
It's Muskrat Love in here. What, you got a problem with that?
Well, you know what, Herrenberg, if you stick around for a few more hours, it might be afternoon delight.
That's it.
Hey, I have to say that this really is a lot like getting drunk at a restaurant. This is very authentic.
We did drink during dinner, so.
If I maybe crash for a minute, there's no fucks giving, and this is what it's like. And I love this because I wish I was with you guys, and we were sitting there by those big giant fire pits at the Marriott. And we're just sitting
It's
all
our
around
favorite place.
in those wicker chairs, and no one's around, and the pool's there with the lights up, and there's nobody, and we could just do this shit because this is wonderful. I mean, it's just so inspiring.
I mean, we literally could do our own Comic-Con just with us as guests. We literally could do a show where a lot of people would show up, I think.
Is it Crazy Con? What do you call it? Jimmy Con?
I would do that.
There's a better name, but I would leave that up to Brian to come up with the name.
We call it, Brian, or it could be.
I agree. Leave it up to Brian.
Oh, it could be Terry Con.
No,
Brian,
Terry Con.
How about King Con?
Do it.
I don't think there is a King Con.
Yeah,
I love that.
The idea that it's
perfect.
Francisco, why has no one ever done a King Con?
It does leave the queens out. It does leave the queens out of it, though. That's maybe why.
How about Metallica?
We could have a giant ape. We could buy a blow up giant ape and put it on this little tiny hotel in Key West where we all go because it's got to be, it's got to be a good.
It's got to be
place
someplace worth going.
Yeah, it's got to be someplace worth going to, and it's like, well, Vijaya, this is you're in charge of this. Find us our hotel, and we'll have it's with King Con, and I want a giant. Grateful Dead ape on top of the convention center, and only cool people go.
Hey, Billy, what was?
This is where it will be. Everybody, come on down to Tucson Comic Con Labor Day weekend, 2022.
Yeah,
we'll have everybody out. And we'll do our own little party.
Hey, Billy, what was the ape in that hotel? Remember that ape that came out at night?
The night ape. So Jimmy, Amanda, and I stayed at this hotel in New York City, and they warned us about the rumors of the night ape that would haunt the hotel. And there was apparently Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Daly Circus was across the street of Madison Square Garden, and some reason one of the guys brought their ape, which was their pet, into the hotel, and the ape escaped, and no one ever found the ape again. And he lived in like the New York Penta Hotel, the night ape, and he kills people and throws them down elevator shafts and shit like that. That was the weirdest shit you ever heard.
Broadway play right there.
It was awesome. It's the night ape.
It has to be a musical, Jeff.
I love it.
With music like
playing the ape.
I remember that hotel room. It was like this giant hotel room with two beds because you were crashing in our hotel room, and it had to be haunted, right? And it was like, I swear, it had to be like 400 square feet, and it had two small beds in it, and like an old bathroom.
Because you had to leave room for the ape.
The night ape, and there's a rumor that the ape, they never found the ape that the guy brought from Ringling Brothers and Barnum Bailey Circus. He brought the ape handler brought the ape into the hotel room, and the ape ran away.
Well, he was waiting for you
in the Penta Hotel in the rafters and all this shit.
Billy,
they think he's a gargoyle and he's hanging over the side, and he's just like a real live ape.
Billy, wasn't he like when you slept, he would stand over the bed and you'd hear slapping noises?
Oh, so disturbing.
They said keep a banana under your pillow. Remember? Keep a banana under your pillow.
Keep a banana under the pillow. That's right. That was it. To save you from the night ape, Vijaya. Because he just wants, all he wants is a banana. He just wants to eat. And he's got keys because he's an ape. So he's Dr. Simeon. He could, Yeah. And that's the inspiration for Donkey Kong. Thank you, Lil.
Actually, Billy and I would, if we were in an elevator and other people came in into the elevator, we'd start talking. What would we say, Billy? Do you remember the line you would say?
I don't want to say it.
Billy would say.
So I know.
Really bad.
Well, now, Robin, Francisca, and Vijaya. This is probably 1994, and we were mere larks. So I'd walk in, and I said,
Well, people would get in the elevator with us, and then we'd start
I'm like,
talking.
so he's licking this monkey's ass.
we would talk for like the whole ride in the elevator. People would like they had their backs to us, and he's like, so he was licking that monkey's ass like it was the last monkey on earth.
Yes.
And I would be like, well, what's that like? And you would say, well, it tasted a little bit like banana. You know, completely straight face, and people in the elevator would be like,
You guys are the original jerky boys.
Yeah.
He hurt me with his words.
Yeah, and you know, funny thing too, if you guys remember, Jeff, of course you remember because that was your convention. Jimmy? That's where it started. Was the Chicago Con in 1994 or 5, and they had all the Indian people, were they Bangladesh or Hindi people, and they remember that it was a big convention for all the kids to meet each other.
It's in Chicago.
These beautiful
In Chicago.
In Chicago, and they had this giant convention. I don't know if Robin and Terry, you remember this, and they had these teenagers, and it was like a meetup for the kids, you know, and these
coming out.
Yeah, but Jimmy and I walk in with these parents who are doctors and attorneys and business people, and then there goes Jimmy and I dressed like this. Jimmy's wearing the Santa Claus fuck Christmas hat, and I'm wearing this shirt, and just like, so he's licking the monkey's ass, and here's these most prim and proper people in the world, like, oh my god, and then we would just run with it, and then the man would giggle. The man giggles, and then gets look from the wife, and I don't know what happened in a hotel room after that, but horrible people we were.
Sexy time.
Oh,
yeah, that was fun.
Anyway, so Jimmy, so we're gonna
ramp in the elevator.
Yeah, that's another story. That's
the
whole
that
show.
was in North Carolina. Billy and the Furniture.
Yeah, I was gonna say I remember that. Yeah. I remember that.
You remember that? That was a horrible thing that my friends did, and we're going on.
It's a funny story.
It's a funny story. Okay, so we're going to close down now, but the crazy things that happen at comic book conventions is that somehow my friends, I was not privy to a part of this, took all the furniture out of 2 floors, 2 hallways,
one hotel room and hallways. Yeah, the hallway furniture.
And shoved it all into the elevator. Now, Jeff, I don't know if you were at the Heroes Con,
including the lamps.
This was North Carolina.
North
right?
Carolina,
Yeah.
including the lamps.
It was Heroes Con 1995. So we were drinking at the room. So no, there was a suite, and we ran out of booze. And then I said, "Oh, I have the refrigerator because we're making all this money." She's not there. I can do whatever I want. I don't know how much those little bottles of alcohol cost. I'm like, I got a whole refrigerator of all this booze in my room. I'll go get mine. So I walk in the elevator, and the elevator's going down now, right? So we're on the top, the penthouse or whatever. So, of course, everyone encourages me, the idiot, because they're not going to go to their rooms and take all the, because the bottles are probably $5 each, and it's probably 50 of them. So I go into the elevator to go downstairs, and I walk in the elevator, and it's filled with furniture, Terry. There is tables. You were there, Brian and Fran, because you called me Denny Terrio. Because I have a Denny Terrio haircut. And you're like, I'll take this and give that guy with a Denny Terrio haircut a beer. Because I had the mullet. Which Jeff and I affirmed that they were called bi-levels back then.
Bi-level.
So I get in the elevator, I'm like, and I'm like, you know,
I think that is
a little shit faced and shocked. And I walk in the elevator, and there's all this furniture, right? Like literally everything. Couches, there's chairs, there's tables, there's lamps, there's ashtrays. Remember they had ashtrays
The
back
entire furnishings of a hallway in a hotel.
and a room. So I press the down button, and all I know is that I walk in though. But when I walked in, I accidentally must have kicked out the cord of a big porcelain lamp. And all of a sudden, so now I'm on the 12th floor, and my room's probably like the 3rd floor or 4th floor. So I'm going down the express. No one's calling it. And all of a sudden, I get in the hotel, I get into the elevator, I shut the door, and as the door is closing, Terry, I noticed that the cord is outside of the door. And the elevator closes, catching the cord of this lamp. And I start going down. And now because I'm totally confined in this this room, and all of a sudden all I see is the lamp swings up, almost hits me in the head, and goes vertical against the door, and the lamp starts sliding up to the top of the. And now this is express because it's probably like 2 a.m, right, Jimmy? And we're going down. And I'm like, oh my God, what is this gonna happen? What is this gonna be like? And all of a sudden, the lamp just explodes because it goes down, and the lamp it starts slapping, and I'm like screaming. I'm like, oh my God! And I'm laying down. I'm crouching down. I'm getting shards of porcelain and ceramic.
Incoming.
Holy shit!
Robin has obviously not heard this story.
It was so. I thought I was gonna fucking die. And I get out and I crawl, and it literally gets to my floor, and I jump out and I crawl out, and the elevator goes down to the bottom floor. And then I'm like, oh my God. So I'm like, oh, I'm alive. And I almost got killed by this. And the lamp was like a Hitchcock film all around.
Do you remember Sheldon didn't invite us to that con anymore for like because it was me and it was Billy. And we messed up that hotel.
Yeah, we messed it up, and he didn't invite us to that con again until he felt like, wow, we really should invite these people because
until he forgot what we did. That's how long it took. We actually had to forget what we did.
Yeah. So then I went back upstairs,
and we're reminding him right now.
And I think I took the elevator back upstairs bravely, not the same elevator, another one. And then they're all yelling at me like, "Where's all the booze?" And then I just went off like, "You bastards tried to murder me. If you did that,
that was the same night. Somebody threw a big party downstairs, and they had pizzas. They had pizzas delivered, and they were like, how are we going to get the pizzas? And I just walked in. It was like, I didn't know whose party it was. I walked in, picked up all the pies, and I just got in the elevator and took them upstairs. Stole all the pizzas from the party.
That was probably somebody's wedding.
Well, then she should get a divorce real quick. If it's a wedding.
All I want for my wedding is
But it was that was the same night. So it was bad.
It was a night to remember.
It truly was a night. And those were the days, guys. And we're going to wrap it up because we've been going. Holy crap. Guys, we've been going 2 hours. We said it was going to be an hour, happy hour.
It feels like 20 minutes, but I get it.
I gotta tell you, we love you. Right? We love you guys. We're so and please, Terry, Robin.
Oh my God.
Francisca.
Call all of us.
Call Francisca.
Yeah, call any of us.
Yeah,
call
you guys are overdue.
Just because she's the queen.
Right.
But call all of us.
Yeah.
Should we go through some of
Does that mean rock on?
We have a super chat.
We have a lot of questions that we totally ignored that we probably should answer.
Brian, if you give me 2 more minutes, let's just go scroll through it. There's a lot of questions and all, but Jiminy Cricket.
Yeah, a lot.
There's a lot. Okay.
We were having way too much fun.
Sorry, way too much fun. Hang on real quick.
Thinking when you guys were telling that story, that time we were all at Motor City Comic Con, and I think we were in the open atrium, and we bought like 1 billion pizzas or something for everybody.
And I did.
Like we were nuts. It was the best.
Because it was April or March, late March 1996, and then there was a snowstorm. And we were trapped in the convention center.
Yes.
And then Brian and I, you and I had to buy 20 pizzas.
It's all lost to time. It could have been Jimmy buying them. I don't know. I remember being there and drinking.
I'm like, Brian, I need $100 for pizzas. And Brian's like, okay. Because he had that Terry Moore money. So he was.
That's right.
We're pretty sure that Jimmy doesn't buy pizzas.
Jimmy doesn't need to buy pizza.
Jimmy
he just walks
He takes them.
away with them.
Well, we had some.
Hold on.
Well, there was what?
But those were the good old days. I remember San Diego one year. I don't even remember what year it is because I don't have a great memory. But we're all in a bar, and they close all the shades in the windows. I think it's like 2 o'clock in the morning, whatever time one closes a bar down. And it was just comic industry people, right? Doors are locked. It's just all of us guys. And we were still kind of new. So it was like cool for me to just be like, there's Neil Gaiman. There's Frank Miller. And like, we're in this closed room partying. Nobody's allowed in. And it was just such a wonderful experience. And it's just great after all these years to still know everybody and to still look at everybody and go, I love you guys. You know?
And like it is, we're all still here. We all
It's
came
amazing
in.
to survive in this peculiar business, doing this peculiar thing that for some reason I feel compelled to do.
Yeah. But it's a passion, and it shows in all of your successes, because you see how the fans respond to you from again, Jimmy starting it with and the multitude of crowdfunding campaigns you've had. What you and Amanda did, that you literally turned, in my opinion, you took Harley Quinn from being an abused, what would she be? I don't want to say girlfriend to the Joker, right? To this strong, empowered woman that is now leading films and to $1 billion industry. Yeah. I mean, Jeff and Vijaya.
I have the $50 to prove it. So
that's another show. We'll talk about that, royalties for another show. But again, Jeff and Vijaya, you both of you guys have always carved your own path, just like you, Terry and Robin. And it truly is. We love you guys so much because we admire, right? We admired you guys so much. We talk about you guys all the time. We truly cherish all the times we spent together, and we're so happy for all of that. For all your successes, we admire it. But man, what a wonderful life that we're all here together still after all this time.
Yep, it's amazing.
And it's just wonderful. And I want to thank everyone out there for watching us for, oh my God, an hour and 55 minutes. We went over our happy hour.
So tired.
But thank you guys. Everyone keep on rocking. Please, Robin, call us.
Yes.
Yeah, I will.
Call all of us. Doesn't matter what time.
I will. Jimmy at 7 a.m. Sunday morning.
Yeah, we'll pick it up. We'll pick it up for you.
Guys, we love you guys. And like I said, Brian and Fran, my goodness, well done. Looking forward to the next campaign, that next giant, huge, humongous campaign. Jeff and Vijaya, holy shit, what you guys did.
Guys.
Yeah, you guys have, you really upped the bar for a first-time campaign. Oh, my God. So, and Jimmy and Amanda, well, Jimmy, you better pick up your game now, man, for the next one. Let's do it. Amanda, you done everything? Can you now focus on your own, create your own stuff? Amanda, are you free from all your massive movie obligation?
Yeah.
She can finally do Terry's cover.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, that'll be one of our stretch goals.
In my lifetime.
Now you
got it.
No, that's not a stretch goal. They buy the Amanda Connor cover. It's not
there
a stretch
you go.
goal. No,
They
it's not
do.
I just want to say that I have not laughed this hard since the last time I was in actual San Diego.
So we're all looking forward to the Palmiotti, Smith, Pulido, Moore, Tucci Con in Key West, Florida next February. And nobody else comes. I really don't care because I just want to do this again down there.
Or I'll just stay at our house and we'll
just drink there.
Yeah, we'll just drink and talk about
You don't
comedy.
want to offer that quite yet.
Don't say that.
We'll
I want to
just
steal
do
I want to steal a
there.
6-code cat from Hemingway.
Yeah, that's right. They get the. Are you guys in Key West right now?
What?
Are you
No,
guys?
we're in Columbus right now, but we live in Key West half the year.
Okay.
That's our exit strategy.
We're not far. Wink, wink.
No, I know.
No, come see us, dude.
Yeah.
We're there all winter long. It's cold up in Tampa, right?
Ooh, Tampa.
Yeah, really cold.
The deadly cross.
It's like Christmas. It's like Christmas.
Oh, yeah. All right, guys. Thank you all. Look at this. Terry Moore. Love you. Terry Moore. Custodian Ken. Big fan. Big fan.
Thank you.
I don't know if you guys know the adorable Brenda. She has been a Comic-Con fan.
She's
since
at San Diego Comic-Con every year since she's 12.
12.
Oh,
And
good job.
if
How
you
old is
saw
she
her,
now?
She now has 3 kids.
yeah, and
Oh,
yeah.
Brenda.
All right, guys. Everyone have a great night. Thank you all for joining us. This was
Thank
a
you.
wonderful experience.
Bye.
And I can't wait for all of
I'll
us
talk
to
to you
tell
guys
you how
soon.
What? What?
I miss you guys so.
Hell yeah.
We miss you guys.
Next year. This is a nice second, but I want to like hug all of you.
Well, next year, I think we're gonna have to steal a night, maybe Tuesday night next year. Look at Jimmy. What's Jimmy doing?
What is Jimmy doing next
I was just hugging you.
Oh, he's hugging you.
I was hugging you, man.
I think maybe next Tuesday night we have a little 1 hour, 45-minute happy hour just of the 8 of us and just chilling out because I think
so that'll be 4 hours.
Translation, 6 hours.
There you go. All right, good night, guys. Everyone have a good night. Thank you so much.
Love you.
Later.
Hey everyone, thank you for joining us on Pop XP. If you haven't already, make sure to click that subscribe button and also click the bell for notifications when we go live and we upload some awesome new content. Also, don't forget to head on over to Twitter and follow us at the Pop XP and over on Instagram at the Pop XP. Thanks again everyone, and we'll see you soon.